Hey everybody, this is John and welcome to the free video. And one of the biggest questions I'm getting as we head into the weekend is we've got a huge squeeze setting up on the technology sector. So are you bullish going into next week? And from all practical accounts of this chart, you would say, yes, this is a screaming buy. Okay, but what we want to do is we want to take a look at the major components of the tech sector. Okay, so the biggest one is going to be Apple. Now, Apple, hands down, is very, very bullish. Okay. But if we dive in and we look at Google, that is an incredibly bearish chart. Okay, if we look at Facebook, it's breaking down and rolling over, right? If we look at Netflix, it's breaking down and rolling over. So what we're seeing is a lot of components, even though the tech sector itself is holding up, the only reason it's holding up is because of Apple. These are huge divergences in the market, and they're a huge red flag. So how do you do something like this? Well, it's tough here. Actually, say if we go and look at XLK, first of all, the first thing is saying like I don't want to buy calls on XLK. Okay, because if really the only reason this is being held up is because of Apple, then I'll buy calls on Apple. But more importantly, it's showing you that the underlying structure of the market is a lot weaker than it appears at first glance, and I think that's the most important takeaway here. And even other tech stocks that are considered consumer stocks is you've got Amazon rolling over, Priceline here rolling over. If you look at XLP and all those, you can just see this, just the utter destruction that's here. Man, Priceline is, yeah, actually looks pretty solid at the downside here as well. And so, the big question here is just going to be how to manage this stuff, because I actually really like Amazon to the downside here, and this is something where I am looking for the 1272 extension here to get hit early next week at $936. So, what do we do to take advantage of that, and how do we manage that? And so let's take a deeper dive into that right now. Okay, so one of the things I want to look at here is for something like Amazon is how am I going to manage this? And what am I going to look at here? And this is of course the tool that I'll be talking about this Saturday for the class. And let me center this a little better here. And so here's some of the nuances, and especially in this kind of environment where the moves are more violent. Okay. And so the biggest thing is that, after we've had a down move and you start to get a rally, okay, if you get a rally with momentum but not conviction, it will not last. And you can see it rolled over. And then here, of course, we got a rally with no momentum or conviction. And of course, that's dead on arrival. So as we go into next week, what I'm going to be looking for and what I want to find is something that looks like this. So on any break of support, to see if we're going to get continuation, I want to see that there's conviction. So what that is called momentum plus conviction. And when you see something like that, you can see that this was a 20+ point move in a very quick amount of time. Okay, and you can see the same thing here. And it's the difference between, oh, we're just kind of hanging out here, we're not doing too much. And, again, we're not getting a squeeze for this. This is something like, we're watching this unfold, and we want to make sure that we're staying on the right side of that and taking advantage of it. The other thing that this tool is really, really useful for is gauging whether or not a support level will hold. Okay, so here is some consolidation where we're looking at this and we're kind of going back and forth, and we can see that here we're starting to break, and we come down to the 1272 extension, and then we quickly come down to the 1618 extension. Now, in most instances, for me, I'd be looking at like, okay, I'm going to take my profits there because it's very rare that we're going to be able to push below that. Okay, but in this situation, if you see that there is momentum plus conviction at this level, you're going to then look for it to continue. Okay, you're going to look for it to continue. And you can scale out as it goes, but you want to get out once the momentum shifts. So on something like this, that was an extra 20 points there on the downside. And what's really good about this is that when you start off and say you buy some Delta 50 puts, every time it's going lower, it's getting deeper in the money. So while here it may have turned into a Delta 60 put, here it's a 70 and 80, and so toward the end you're getting point for point action as it gets closer to a delta of 1. So your gains can be exponential. So I just find that as a very useful tool. So anyway, I'm going to be taking a deep dive into this whole concept on Saturday, which I'm doing this on Friday, so that's tomorrow. And while I was highlighting the indicator there, I mean, the idea of this indicator is really the markets are changing, and we want to be able to take advantage of it because down moves are fun, but you want to know if it's going to be a down move with conviction and momentum that you hold on for the ride, or is it going to be a little move and then we get a rip your head off short covering rally. Okay, and it's just a tool that gauges that. It tracks this stuff. Okay. And it just makes it a lot easier because you're not having to second guess yourself. It's, the momentum and conviction is there or it's not. If it's there, you stick with it. Okay, if it's not, you don't. Or different things like that. You can use it for entries and exits. And also, as the markets are speeding up like this, we're not going to get as many squeezes, because with squeezes, you need a quiet environment. We're not having a quiet environment here. So what we're going to be doing here on Saturday is with this class. Is I'm going to go through, we've got a couple of checklists we're going to go on: trade entry, trade exit, targets, how to use this if you're working full time or if you want to drill down and use it. But that's going to be the strategy, okay? And we're going to go through and and it's not just about this indicator, it's just kind of a market in general, okay? And we're also going to go through the very real potential that we're going to get a meltdown in September or October, and we're going to talk about exactly how to play it and what to look for, because you don't want that to happen, and one, you're on the wrong side of it, okay, because that's the worst thing. The second worst thing is that you completely miss it, because it can be if it does unfold, it can be like the best trade of the year. That happened to us in August 2 years ago, and on that one day where we had the meltdown on August, I think 24th. I mean, everybody that was in those positions, we doubled our entire accounts. It was amazing. So there'll be a recording as well. The 10x bar indicator, of course, is a tool that I think a lot of people are going to enjoy. And then for those of you that are newer, there's an options foundation course and back to basics. And then the only real difference between that and the professional package is this includes 3 days of live trading. And the whole idea of the live trading is so you can see this firsthand. And what does happen 90% of the time is that as traders, we're able to make enough money during the class to recap your investment from essentially right away. So your ROI can be very fantastic. We're also going to do a follow-up day, and then we're also creating a scanner where, for the indicator, you're going to put that on a chart and say, okay, I'm watching Apple, and Apple is either it has momentum or a conviction, and it's not. And if it doesn't, you just got to sit there and you wait. What the scanner does, it says, by the way, these stocks over here have momentum and conviction on the upside. These have it on the downside on daily charts. You can also drill down to 78-minute charts and things like that too. So it's super handy like that. And then the elite package is that if you do not have our scanner or know that we have one, okay, because this is just for those scans, we've also got 20 plus other scans. And if you're thinking like, wow, I'd like to really have a good time saver and have access to all the setups and all the scans that you use, then that would be what you do. Okay. So again, simplertrading.com/formula. These are going to be the strategies and tools that are going to kick us through the rest of this year. This kind of trade in the last couple of weeks have been, as the market changes, it can get frustrating. And this class is meant to reset and recalibrate to the market so we're all on the same page. So when I'm in the room and doing trades, it's going to make sense. It's like, okay, you've adapted, and we're changing everything based on how the markets are. We're going to be using these tools in conjunction with that, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So looking forward to it. You guys have a fantastic weekend, and looking forward to seeing you on the class.